You want to grow your LinkedIn account. Good news! I'm going to walk through exactly how you can increase the number of connections you're getting every day, week, month, and even for the year. That's because I've spent over a year creating content on LinkedIn, and I've talked to some of the top creators on LinkedIn about growth strategies that work. A key thing to understand about LinkedIn, you can grow your account with a bit of elbow grease. So it's not like other social media networks where you hope followers will find your account and then click follow or subscribe. You can actually reach out to people directly on LinkedIn and send them a connection request. And you can send up to 200 connection requests per week before it maxes out. That means if you find people who are in your niche or industry, you can start to build relationships with them. And if they accept your connection request, your content will start appearing in their feed, and that will help you increase your reach. It's pretty easy to do if you use the right strategy. A good way of growing on LinkedIn is to be consistent. That means writing and publishing content on the platform 3, 4, or 5 times a week. I personally publish posts 5 times a week, and I find that's the right balance. I spend about 60 minutes writing my content for the week, and then I always hang around when I publish something to engage with other commenters. Now clearly, if you don't have enough time to create 5 posts a week, you could start with 2 or 3. But the thing is to be consistent so your content starts to appear on people's feeds and they get an idea for the types of topics you like to write about, and then they'll start to follow your account. I'd also recommend ending your posts with a clear call to action. Ask your followers or people who are reading the post to repost it so you can increase your engagement, or ask them to leave a comment below so LinkedIn can see people are interacting with your content. And this will help you reach more people who aren't necessarily your connections. If you want to grow your account on LinkedIn, it's important that you be clear about who you are writing for and the types of services that you offer which can help them. And you're going to optimize your profile so it communicates that clearly. Now I have another video on the channel where I do a deep dive into LinkedIn profile optimization. But suffice to say, you can create a banner like this with some social proof using a tool like Canva, and just create something simple. Then you're going to want to have a professional, clear headshot, and you're also going to have or want to have a 1 or 2 line description. And I say 1 or 2 lines because people are reading LinkedIn a lot on their mobiles. And you can use a framework like I help X accomplish Y through Z. X being your audience, Y what they want to do, and Z being your service. And I've used a variation of this for my LinkedIn profile. Now, there are some additional strategies that you can use to optimize your profile. For example, if you sign up for LinkedIn Premium, you get access to additional resources such as this featured section, as well as a custom link on your profile. And again, in my other video on the channel, I explain exactly how all of this works. But simply start with optimizing your banner, your headshot, and your 1-line description. And that way, when people do visit your profile, they'll clearly understand what you do. The next way to grow your account on LinkedIn is to leave comments on the bigger accounts. So I'm talking about bigger accounts by creators like Justin Welch and other people that you can find in your niche or industry. Now you can use tools like Taplio to find the biggest creators in your industry. And again, I have another video in the channel or on the channel where I explain exactly how Taplio works and how you can use it. But if you don't want to pay for any fancy social media management tools, you don't need to. So you can just simply start with a bookmark in your browser and just simply bookmark the homepage of all the bigger accounts or of all the people you're trying to build relationships with. And then at the start of the day or at lunchtime or at the end of the day, work your way through the list of profiles that you've bookmarked to your browser and see if they posted anything recently that hasn't popped up on your feed. Because I've noticed that sometimes posts will not appear in my feed that some people I've followed have recently published. And then go into the post in question and you're going to leave a response that reacts to what they've said. And don't say something like, great post or I totally agree with that. Try and write something thoughtful or add some value to the post so you'll firstly get the attention of the poster and perhaps they'll start interacting with your comment. But more importantly, you'll actually get the attention of the other people who have left comments on the post in question. That brings me to my next strategy for growing your account on LinkedIn. So when you found a creator who is relevant to your niche, scroll down in their post and click on the profiles of the different people who've left comments. So you might go through 5, 10, or even 15 of these different profiles and check if they're relevant to you. So as an example, here's somebody here. His name is Jamie Gardner. He is in Australia and he looks like he's in a related niche to what I do. So I could send him a connection request that reads like this. Hey, I thought we should connect as we're both a fan of Charles's work. Now, you're not going to get a 100% acceptance rate, obviously, but the key thing here is that I'm not trying to sell or pitch a service or do something creepy in the DMs. I'm basically just finding people who are relevant to me, who have also left a comment on the bigger accounts, and then I'm sending them a connection request. Now, sometimes they will ignore you, sometimes you will be sent back some sort of offer, and sometimes people will just chat to figure out who you are. And that brings me up to another point. If you spend time in the DMs just talking to people and asking them about their business, it does show LinkedIn that you're engaging more on the platform, and that can potentially help with your reach. The next way to grow your account faster is basically to send connection requests to people that LinkedIn considers as potential members of your network. So I'm in Ireland and LinkedIn has suggested that I connect with these people because perhaps we went to the same university or we worked for the same employer, or someone we know went to one of those universities or worked for the same employer. So what I do is quickly scan through these profiles, and then I'll use a few key criteria to decide if I want to connect with them. So this person here is a editor at an Irish newspaper. So I actually used to work as a journalist, but they haven't actually posted anything on LinkedIn in the past 6 months. So I'm not going to send a connection request to that person. So this person here works for RTE, which is the public service broadcaster in Ireland. Again, he hasn't published anything on LinkedIn in the past month, so I'm not going to bother sending a connection request. So here's somebody else. She has posted something in the past 3 days. So my criteria here is that if somebody is active in LinkedIn within the past 7 days, and if they're in my niche or an adjacent niche or niche, then I will reach out and send a connection request. So this person is a journalist. I used to work as a journalist, so this is why LinkedIn is recommending this person to me. Now, I'm not going to try and pitch them any services or send a long preamble. I'm just simply going to go do connect and send without note. And basically, I'll work my way through who LinkedIn has recommended to me using that criteria. Are they relevant to my niche or niche? And have they been active in the past week? If so, I will send them a connection request and I'll send it without a note. And so these are people that I may know from a university I went to. If I scroll further down, it'll recommend people from the industries that I work in based on my recent activity and also based on other creators that I follow. Now, one strategy I do like as well is when you start to send connection requests. So I'm just going to send this person a connection request so you can see how it works. LinkedIn will then recommend other creators and other accounts that I should potentially connect with as well. So in other words, it starts to pull through people from the same niche or industry. And I can also use the right-hand sidebar as well. And basically, I'll open up these profiles and again, use the same criteria. And I'll also open up these profiles as well. And I'll try and send out 20, 30 or 40 different connection requests over the course of the day. So I can max out my connection requests over the course of a given week. Now, obviously, I will make sure that they're in the same niche or niche or an adjacent niche, the right country, and there is something that we have in common. So there's no point in me connecting with somebody who's in a country in another side of the world and they don't speak English, for example. The next way to find people to connect with is to use search on LinkedIn, and it's actually pretty powerful, and you don't need LinkedIn Sales Navigator to get the most from it. So simply type in the job title of somebody you'd like to connect with. So as an example, I was trying to connect with chief sales officers who may need help creating content for their sales teams. So if I type in chief sales, now LinkedIn is going to give me a list of people. Now I'm going to filter this a little bit further. So obviously I don't want to see people I'm already connected with because I'm trying to build my account. So I'm going to click on second degree connection. So this means that Christian is connected to someone I know and I'm connected to someone he knows. So that could be a good introduction. And then I can simply work my way through the feed here and send the connection requests using the criteria I gave you a few moments ago. And there are some additional filters that I can use. So I can actually filter by location. So I tend to connect with people in the United States, the United Kingdom and Ireland. If you want to connect with people in a specific company, you can do that as well. I don't use that as much. And you can even search for people who follow a creator that you like. So if you want to find everybody who follows Justin Welch, for example, who I showed you earlier on in the video, you can put in their details here. And you can also filter by industry. And if they're not in the right country for you, I'd recommend that you pick English or whatever your language preference is. So this way I'll build up a list of people I could potentially connect with, see if they're active, and then I'll send them a quick connection request. If you're going to follow these strategies, or perhaps you have a different strategy that you'd like to use, it's best that you track what works. And for this, I recommend using LinkedIn Analytics with Shield. It's pretty affordable. So basically it costs $25 per month. So using LinkedIn Shield, you can get key statistics about your post impressions, likes, comments, how many followers you've attracted over the past week, 4 weeks, month to date, and quarter to date. And the other reason why I like this is because if I click on the content section, I can actually navigate down and I can see the types of posts that are generating the most impressions, the most likes, and the most comments. And this will basically give me information about the type of content I should create more of if I want to reach more people and grow my account. So as an example, over the past month or so, this particular LinkedIn carousel that I created has done quite well. So if I clicked on the view on LinkedIn button, you can see it had some short text and then it was a PDF carousel that I quickly created in Canva. And it's all about creativity. It didn't actually take me too long to create this, but it actually did better than some of the other posts that I've published on LinkedIn this month. So I'll basically use the analytics inside of LinkedIn Shield to see what types of content are getting the most engagement and the most comments, and then I'll use that to refine my content strategy. Now, obviously, you don't have to use LinkedIn Shield. There is some analytics in LinkedIn that you can use as well. The only thing is I have found that it is a little bit harder to see what posts are performing and not performing. And basically, it just doesn't present the information as clearly as LinkedIn Shield does. But basically, the takeaway here is that you should track what works and do more of that. In short, turn up early and often on LinkedIn. Don't post and ghost. Engage with the bigger accounts and also engage with their followers. And make sure you max out the amount of connection requests you're sending per week. And track what works using a tool, software, or a spreadsheet. If you need more help getting started with LinkedIn, I actually have a whole playlist on the channel that I recommend you check out. It covers everything from optimizing your profile to the types of content you should create. And if you do have questions, let me know in the comments section below this video.